Okay, hey guys, we are live now. How you ladies doing today?
Good.
Good. It's kind of a dreary, well, it's dreary in Wisconsin. What's it look like there in California?
Sunny and beautiful.
Yeah,
Low
of
70s.
course. Boo, you whore.
It's cold today.
It is. It's a little chilly. It was so gorgeous yesterday, but it's a little chilly. I don't know. So, Let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Allie. I'm with Ohana Adventures. This vlog or this live show is a fairly new monthly live show that we have started where we talk about we pick a topic every month. So last month's topic was Disney's Magical Express. This month's topic is the Disney Fast Pass system. Should it return? Will it return? All of our opinions off of that, which we have a lot of opinions. This was kind of born out of the Disney tangents that all three of us tend to do, right? So I'm Allie. I will introduce Jolly first. Go ahead, Jolly.
I'm Liz Jolly. I'm also part of Ohana Adventures.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
What's going on now? Okay. I'm also part of Ohana Adventures. I have lots of opinions on the Fast Pass system. And also, I'm sorry if I look really tired. I just had a very long week and performances for shows. So I may look tired, but I'm very excited to be here.
Yes. Hey, Mary with the SisketEARS. How you doing?
Oh, hey.
And last but not least, California Liz.
Hi, I'm California Liz. I am the Disneyland part of this live stream, which honestly doesn't make a lot of difference normally, but for this one makes a big difference because we have different options out here. And having experienced those firsthand, I have strong opinions about them as well.
Yes.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So we are actually doing something a little different this time to start it off. First off, let's highlight our ears.
Oh, yeah.
These are the purple. Are they called something? Liz Zittney got these for us.
I don't know if they were. I don't remember because I bought them in 2019.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So purple ears, they're from Disney. So I will be messing with them a lot because they never fit my head right and they always fall off. So I'll be like adjusting. But to start off our live shows, we each have a specialty drink that we're drinking that we're going to talk about. It says, "Hi, Just Ginger, Purple Potion." Okay, yeah. Okay, that's what these are called, Purple Potion. Nice. Thanks, Mary. So we each have a specialty drink that's Fast Pass related-ish or inspired by the theme, I guess. Sometimes it may be a stretch, but it's inspired by the theme. So I will go first to talk about what drink I am drinking today. So I am drinking a beer from Schafferhofer. Is that how you say it, Liz Zittney?
Schafferhofer.
Schafferhofer. You know the grapefruit beer that they sell in Epcot?
Oh, okay.
I think you say it Schafferhofer. So this is the beer that they sell in Epcot, and they sell the grapefruit version, which I love. And we can actually get it in our local grocery store. But they have a limited edition version called Passion Fruit.
Oh, it's real good.
Yeah, it's very good. So I chose it because people are very passionate about whether they should keep the Fast Pass system or not keep the Fast Pass Plus system. So that is my drink that I'm drinking related to the Passion Fruit. So cheers. What do you got, Liz Jolly, today?
Okay, I have a cocktail called AMF, and it's a take on the Long Island iced tea. And it actually, the acronym is Adios Mother Bleep.
Adios Mother Bleep, AMF. Okay.
That's how I feel about Fast Passes.
Oh, okay. So adios Mother. Adios Mother.
Dash.
Okay.
No, and I don't hate fast passes that much, but I'm not a fan. So,
Okay.
yes, that's my cocktail. Also, it's like just a bunch of random like liquors thrown in together, and I feel that's kind of what Disney did with the fast pass system. So,
True. Yes. Yeah, I would have to
also
agree.
a metaphor.
Yes. Yes. Nice. I like that one. Liz Whitney, what are you drinking?
Okay, so it's a Martha Stewart recipe, and I garnished it appropriately for the podcast. It's called the Good Night and Good Luck, because whoever's responsible for getting the fast pass, this is what their spouse says to them before they go to bed at night. Like, good night and good luck, because we're always on. For us, it's like, I don't know, like 4:00 in the morning, desperately trying to get fast passes.
Yeah.
So it's Martha Stewart's recipe, but it's generally just a Moscow Mule with some cucumbers. So I'm good with it, but yeah, it's
Good
not
night
ginger
and
beer,
good
vodka,
luck.
and ice, and that's it.
Ooh, ginger.
And lime.
Yeah. Okay. That actually sounds like really good combination.
I
that
like
would
the
love.
cucumbers. That
Yeah.
He's so cute. I eat them.
It looks as
You
you're
ate an ear.
and we ate an ear and we're there. So you can tell maybe the theme of how the three of us feel about the fast pass system, AMF and good night and good luck, which is why we're very passionate. So cheers, ladies.
I'm also drinking
Cheers.
a Disney on Ice glass, and I believe it lights up. You can see
Oh,
that.
nice. No, I can't see it.
I have
very
a
well,
horrific fake flower from Disney on Ice that lives on my kitchen counter.
Oh,
you.
I guess it lights up. I don't know.
So to start that off, oh, Mary said, Liz J, that's hilarious. AMF. Oh, and heads up, if anybody is watching right now that has littles, we try not to curse at all in these vlogs, but this is an adult. We are adults. So like, I mean, I'm not going to say this is rated R. This isn't rated R. Yes,
instead of the actual word.
Obviously we drink, so yeah, I'm not gonna okay. So to start this off, there was recently on a Facebook group that we are part of, it's called Walt Disney World Adults Only, and I will put a link in the description after this live show is done to this Facebook group in case anybody wants to join it. It's actually really great. I'm part of a couple, like 2 or 3 different Facebook groups, and this one's probably my favorite. I had mentioned before that we are adults. Liz Whitney has 2 children.
I do.
She's the only one who has children, but yes, Liz Jolly is technically is an adult.
Yeah,
but
I always have to check the group before I post because I have to make sure that I'm in the right group.
You're in the right one.
Adults only is adults only.
It's adults
only.
only.
Any pictures of kids or anything like
Correct.
that. So.
Yeah. And so I like that one because that's usually how the 3 of us travel to Disney. We're foodies. We do a lot of eating and drinking and stuff like that. Not that I'm sitting here saying, like, Liz, you're going with your kids, next year, and it's magical that way too.
Yeah.
So there was a post that was posted and it got so many likes and so many comments. And for a week I was like reading and reading and reading and I was down a rabbit hole and it was amazing.
Like, comparatively how popular that post was to their, because it seemed like the most comments ever on that post.
Okay, so this is what Mary said. So we were talking about how obscene we are. We won't show. Mary said, my kids are probably more obscene than you. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I love that.
Love it. So, okay. So the person who started it off, this is what it says. I do not understand why people don't like fast passes. Why would you want to wait in line more than 20 minutes if you don't have to? So that's how it started off the whole conversation. And there's like over 700. I mean, there's probably more than that by this point in time. So I highlighted some comments, different things about why they are good, why it's bad, blah, blah, blah. So let's start off with the first comment. This is from somebody by the name of Elizabeth Jolly. And I know her. Okay.
This is very, very rare for me, by the way. I don't think, I can probably count on one hand the times I've commented in a group. Large group
when it
setting.
wasn't just tagging the rest of us about alcoholic beverages.
Yes.
Right. Exactly.
And actually, before we go to the comments.
That's our favorite way to tag.
That's the best.
Before we go to the comments, Liz Whitney, I actually want you to talk about Max Pass because in these comments, I do talk about Max Pass a couple times. And in case people are watching this back or watching it right now, they might not know what Max Pass is. So explain to us, California Liz, Max Pass. What is Max Pass?
Okay. So Disneyland does still have the traditional fast pass system as far as you can go to a ride, get a paper fast pass, you stick your card in, get your fast pass, and then it'll tell you when to come back. But one of the features that Disneyland has that I adore, I'm a huge fan of it, is the Max Pass. And we added it onto our annual passes. And the way that it works is it gives you access through the My Disney Experience app, through the Disneyland app, to be able to book your fast passes. So you will see me when I have it, every time I go into the park, the first thing I do when I hit that turnstile is pull up my phone. I've got it ready before I go through the turnstile, and I'm figuring out what our first fast pass of the day is going to be. And I will pick our first fast pass the minute we hit the parks. You have to be checked in. You have to have it for all of your people. It is an extra charge. I believe when we first started using it, it was $10 a day, but we did the annual pass add-on. It did go up in price since then. I think it got to like $15 a day. But if you added it for your annual pass, it obviously was, cheaper overall, depending how many times you went and used it. But you would get that one fast pass, and then you could not get another one until you had either used that one or had been in the park for the times varied depending what kind of access you had. Sometimes it was an hour and a half. Sometimes it had been an hour since you had booked your last fast pass. I think the shortest we ever saw was an hour, and that was a special for people that had Max Pass as an annual pass add-on, because they were trying to really push it and get people to use it more because it's extra fees for them. But for us, we would go in to, say, California Adventure, get a fast pass immediately for Radiator Springs because it is the one that's going to sell out before the end of the day. So we'd go in and get our fast pass right away. We always rope drop. So we would generally have our fast pass for within 10 minutes of when the park opened. We'd go in, we'd do that, then we'd hit our next fast pass, then we'd hit our next fast pass, then we'd hit our next fast pass. You could only have one at a time. There was no limit to how many you could get through the day. And you could go in and you could change it. You could go in and see if there were other times available. But one of the challenges with the Max Pass system is that if you don't rope drop, a lot of times you will not be able to get those e-ticket rides. If you're not there probably by noon, a lot of times noon or say like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekend day, you're not getting Radiator Springs racers. If you try and get in there at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you're getting an 8 o'clock fast pass. So now with the time restraints, you could get another fast pass after an hour and a half, so you could still get more fast passes throughout the day. But that's why we always rope dropped. We wanted to get in, get as much done as we possibly could, and we'd be leaving the park by 11 and had hit like 4 or 5 rides. So
it sounds to me like it's the old paper fast pass system just on your phone and you pay for it. That's kind of
exactly. It gave you the opportunity to do it from your phone. But if you were traveling with people that did not have it, like if we traveled with my in-laws, they didn't have Max Pass. We had to go to the machine and put our little thing in so we'd all get the same time.
I didn't know that.
Hey, Mel.
Because I couldn't put them on our pass. They didn't pay for it, so they didn't have the opportunity to do it from their phone. So they had to go to a machine. It's like we could pull it up on our phone at the same time they were at the machine and probably get the same time.
But
Mel just joined us with Geeking Out with Melly Mel. She is filming right now. Are you doing a live show as well? Because I know Mel does a live show as well. I wonder if she's doing. We're doing live shows at the same time.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, Mel. Okay, so thank you for explaining that because I think it'll be important to our conversation that we have during this live show. Actually.
Right, and the big things that people have issues with are you have to pay for it. You don't have to pay as much as you do at like Universal for their fast pass system, but you have to pay for it. So it's an added on cost and that scares people. And you have to use your device. So you have to make sure that you've got backup batteries if you're going to be there for a while so that you constantly have access to your device. So if your device dies and you have a fast pass booked already, you can just scan your card. You can scan your ticket. So it's not like you lose it, but you lose the opportunity to be able to go in and change it.
So again, the recap, how it started, this Jan person had posted, I don't understand why people don't like fast passes. Why would you want to wait in line more than 20 minutes if you don't have to? We'll get to, how about we do Liz's comment at the very end? Because Liz Jolly's comment is great. So somebody by the name of Joshua said, their argument is rides that you don't have fast passes for end up with much longer lines, so you can only ride rides you happen to get a fast pass for. So we're talking about people who don't like fast passes. Our argument, or people who don't like fast passes arguments, are rides that you don't have fast passes for end up with much longer lines. Because so the standby, he's saying the standby line is much longer. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think there's any truth to that the standby line is a lot longer due to the fast pass system?
I think the standby line gets interrupted a lot because of fast passes. I don't know that like physically people it's longer, but it like the flow gets off.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Which, I mean, that's not that is what it is. I guess that's not like a criticism necessarily of the fast pass system. That's just a fact that like obviously when you have to like wait and let fast pass people through and then one more and then let fast pass people through.
Yeah.
Well, now something that I will say in defense of this system, though, yes, it does stop the line to let fast pass people through. But if the cast members are really on their ball, they're not letting every single fast pass person through the minute they hit the gateway point.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, all the fast pass people go through. I have had to stand there and watch 20 people from the standby line go in front of me because they stopped the fast pass entrance before I got there. Now that doesn't happen on every ride, but like Radiator Springs Racers in particular, I've used the fast pass there more than anywhere else. I've been stopped in the fast pass line to let standby go through. So if the cast members are doing a good job of regulating that, then it shouldn't really impact the standby line as much. But I don't think that that's really consistent across all the parks.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I get frustrated, I would agree that the standby line takes 10 times longer. And I would have to agree with Josh's comment that with how Walt Disney World has the system set up, which we'll talk a little bit later, which is why I wanted you to highlight how Max Pass works, is he's right. Like basically you can only ride, 20 minutes or less only for your 3. And we'll kind of get into it. Hi, afternoon. Hello, Adventures by D. Welcome. Welcome. I almost said afternoon delight. That made no sense. I don't know. I saw AD and D. So Adventures by D. Yes.
This is not that kind of podcast.
Not that kind of show. Not that kind of show. Welcome.
But not in that way.
Not that way. Okay. So Jeremy comments, I hate the 3 a day. 3 fast passes a day. Should be like Universal. You buy your fast pass and have unlimited uses per day. So this made me think of, do you think we should go to paid fast pass? Is Disney going to paid fast passes? Would you pay to have unlimited fast passes throughout the whole entire day? Would you pay for that?
Not for what Disney's going to charge for it.
Yeah.
Not for it.
They charge $100 a day, or they charge. So like if you think of Memory Maker, that's what, $200? I bet they charge $200, like Memory Maker. Don't you think?
Yeah, no, I would not pay the price that Disney's going to charge to have unlimited fast passes for all the rides all day long. Mm-hmm. That's too much.
Mm-hmm. So back to the 3 a day.
Outrageously priced.
I would, because I think it's still, I mean, unless they massively change the system, it's still like you could only have one at a time. You still have, like, there's still all these things that they have to do kind of to not to.
Correct.
Really, there's just a slight overcrowding in general problem at Disney.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the overcrowding. I mean, yeah. So going back to the 3 a day, which is what I was hinting at with the last comment, I hate how Disney World does their 3 a day. And really, when it's 3 a day. So there's lots of people who will sit here and say, mine's not 3 a day. I can get multiples. You can, but honestly, you're getting multiples, and this is our opinion. You're getting multiples for rides that you don't really need a fast pass for. Okay.
We did that when we booked for 2019. Mm-hmm. We booked 3 passes in every park because you couldn't get more during the day.
Muppet Vision 3D.
So, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking about.
Like, I don't need a fast pass for this. But I'm stuck.
With that is if one of your fast passes is at 8:00 at night, which some of ours were, which
because I couldn't get anything.
Not more than 3. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and in Adventures by D, they also prefer the Max Pass system themselves as well. So, and I want to point out, in case anybody's watching this and going, well, Allie, you don't know how to book I was online at 6 a.m. because I was talking to Liz Zitney on the phone when we got our fast passes. Hey, Jana Travels. Welcome. How are you guys today? J&M Travels.
J&M
awesome.
Travels.
I feel like they should have like a not a
jingle?
limerick. A jingle, thank you.
A jingle, a limerick.
I said limerick. Okay. So so I feel like he is right. You really only get 3 when they say 3 a day, it's 3.
You get 3. Yeah.
You get
Unless
3 a day.
you're incredibly lucky.
Unless you're
or,
incredibly
like I said,
lucky.
you get passes for things that you don't want, or if you're switching them up throughout the day. That's the other thing. If you
Correct.
can navigate and shuffle things around during the day, but then you spend the whole time with your face on your phone.
And I don't like that.
And that makes me angry.
Yes. Okay. So Dario, he had said people, and maybe this has to do, it's a good transition. People who don't plan ahead of time don't like fast passes. I'm a big planner. I love them. I take offense to that. Okay. Both these Lizzes know that I am the biggest type A personality and the biggest planner. This is my bottle opener, by the way. I'm holding it. It's a pointer. I am the biggest planner in the whole entire, you guys know, sometimes psychotically much, and sometimes I annoy both the Lizzes, and I have to check myself.
Yeah, it's not like planning. Planning isn't the issue.
No.
Yeah, because you have no idea on what given day, when you go to start getting your fast passes, you have no idea how many people are trying to get into your park and your ride your day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's no way to know. We were on right away and Flight of Passage was like 8 o'clock.
Right.
Or
It was.
whatever. Or like it was terrible.
I don't remember what
and
it was.
they're
Yeah.
trying to kind of work through that with the tiering system.
Right.
But that's when you start pushing people to get fast passes for things they don't want or need.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Which Mary had said she can get 4 if she wants a fast pass to Barnstormer. And I think what she means by that, like Barnstormer doesn't really need a fast pass.
Right.
So it's like, you can't really say I get all these fast passes. Well, like, do you need a fast pass for Carousel of Progress?
Yeah.
Well, and realistically,
Probably
if
not.
you're a solo traveler, you probably can get better fast pass times because you can sneak into those little slots that are still open. If you're traveling with 3 or more, it's going to be a lot harder to get those prime times to try and get those passes. So a lot of ours, we ended up getting fast passes, and then we like went at Rope Drop and rode those rides instead, and then released our fast passes.
Correct.
Yeah.
We did that with Slinky Dog, I think.
Mhm.
Because it wasn't worth it for us to stay in Hollywood Studios until 8
I
o'clock.
think it was like,
I think we left Hollywood Studios at 10.
Yeah.
That morning.
There was one fast pass that we got it for like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's my nap time.
Yeah.
So I can't do any rides during my nap time.
No.
Well,
Okay.
maybe that's the thing. Maybe these people getting 3 passes are like Rope Drop to fireworks.
Drop to
I can't
fireworks.
do that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I know.
Mama's
That's
old
not-
now.
Mhm,
Oh, that's so relaxing also. That's like not,
mhm.
and I don't
So-
mind planning out what rides I'm going to go on ahead of time. Like that is not my problem.
No,
That's
yeah, I
okay.
love planning that.
That's
knowing what,
fine. Yeah, I don't mind planning my day and planning rides. It's just,
yeah.
this
I mean, right now, I'm working on a spreadsheet of all the snacks that we should be trying in Animal Kingdom, and I'm separating them by land, by restaurant, savory versus sweet, and
I have
I'm
a request.
color coding them. Yes, send me
I have
your
a
request
request.
in an email.
Okay, I'll do it. I have a request. It's a holiday only feature. So
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah.
request. No, I want to know.
What's your request?
I want the pine cone.
Yes.
The pine cone. Oh, I've
Yeah.
never
The
heard
pine
that.
cone.
Okay.
The hazelnut pine cone.
Okay,
It's
I'll
offered
put it
at
on the
Animal
list.
Kingdom only during holiday season, and
So hopefully
we
it'll
will
be there.
just crossing into holiday season.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so Laura says, my issue with fast passes is how unfair, and she does that in quotations, unfair, because let's be honest, I mean, this is Disney. Like,
Yeah, life's not fair. Yeah.
life's not fair. Anywho, with how unfair they have become, with being able to pre-book based on hotel and get additional passes for more expensive rooms. She's talking about concierge. If you book concierge, you get more fast
Oh,
passes.
yeah.
Right.
They are no longer an equal system. When I was younger, one of the things I liked about them was everyone had an equal opportunity. I'm not saying I don't understand, but money has become such a huge part of the equation with fast passes.
And that's my concern with doing an all day, all rides
Like a
pass.
paid.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pay to play.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
there's enough of that going on already. We all see the plaids walking around. Like,
Yeah.
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 And I guess
I don't know. Go ahead, Jolly.
I was just gonna say, I guess my issue is not like, I get it, Disney's expensive, and if you want to like go on every ride and never wait in a line ever, you have to pay for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I get that to some extent, but I also right now, like everyone has said, you need to like be able to do anything, you need a fast pass, which is weird. Like it shouldn't be, it should be like for the popular rides, I get it. If you don't want to wait in line, a fast pass, but it's literally like every ride ever, you need to put a fast pass in, and it just has gotten out of control.
Yeah. I don't know that I agree with her unfair. So I don't want there to be a paid fast pass. However, if there does end up being a system like that, and I get it, I'm not going to sit here and go, it's unfair, us poor people. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Well,
you know that you're booking a very expensive vacation.
Correct.
You know, and you know that if you're not willing to shell out the big bucks, that it won't be the same vacation that you see every travel vlogger post.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's fine. What's your reason for going? You know, are you going because you want to ride every single ride? Then you can do it. If you rope drop and you use the existing free fast pass system, and it's a lot of stress, but it can be done.
Right.
You get tired. Yeah. But I guess I look at it as like, okay, so if you stay on property, you get to book 60 days out, off property 30 days. And maybe that's what this Laura is talking about with like, that's unfair. I don't think so, because I'm paying probably double the amount to stay on property. So I don't think that's really
an
unfair.
incentive to have people stay on property. I mean, Disney
it is. That's an incentive.
So
they want you to stay in the bubble. Okay. So here's a couple of them. Amy says, fast pass clogs the entire system. It causes longer wait times, which forces you to need Fast Pass Plus. It's a vicious cycle. And then she talks about Disneyland and Universal have such a better system, which we kind of talked about. And then Kim says, I prefer the old school Fast Passes where you had to go up to the ride, where given a return time, it let the vacation be a little bit more spontaneous and less every second is pre-planned.
I hate that. I'm gonna be honest. I know there's a lot of people that feel really strongly about that. I don't consider myself to be mobility challenged. I am poo-sized, as we like to say. Traveling all the way across the park to get a fast pass, to put my ticket in a machine and get a fast pass so that I can come back and ride it 6 hours later. So then I have to leave and go somewhere else and do something else for 6 hours and then come all the way back over again. That's a lot for me.
It is.
And so I often, even with my family traveling here in California, before Max Pass existed, would just not do the fast passes. If I couldn't, like, if I wasn't feeling up to having my husband take my ticket to go get my fast pass for me, I would just skip that ride. Because by the end of the day, if you've been there all day, for some of us that do have more mobility issues, that's a lot to have to walk all the way over there. And that's a privilege thing. You know, I pay more so that I don't have to walk over to the ride more than once, I guess. But some of those rides are really far away from where everything else
zigzag.
Is. Well,
I don't think it's
if you get one for like 6 hours later, and then like you have to hang out for I mean, there's stuff to do in the parks, but that's a long day.
Exactly.
If you have kids, even that's a long day.
That's a long day. So I don't know that, like, I agree with you. I wouldn't want to walk, but to me, it's like kind of like what you said with Max Pass. You have to be checked into the park before you can get them. You know what I mean? So like that's what Max Pass is. So Corey says, first, I have no interest in planning my days months in advance. I am old enough to have been around before the reservation fast pass system. Overall waits are much longer with fast passes. In addition to drastically increased queue waits, fast passes increase the crowd levels at the beginning and end of each day. Before fast passes, even the busiest days had a solid 2 hours after rope drop and before close with no significant lines for anything. I love planning. But I have to agree that, like, I don't think I want to plan 2 months. Like, that is one thing about Disney. Like, I love planning the fun stuff, but planning out my fast passes, that does kind of annoy me because...
Especially since there's so much that's out of your control about it.
Yeah.
Correct.
You can go in with all the plans in the world, and then by noon, the day that you were supposed to get your fast passes, everything's been completely destroyed, and you're going to different parks on different days, you know.
Yeah. So Mary said, I don't think FastPass is the only reason the waits are longer. And I was actually just going to say that, that like years ago, I think the crowd levels have just increased.
It's a huge crowding problem that was not figured out.
Capacity again.
Yes. Yeah. Which actually, I do have a come wine with me topic planned for future. Is Disney getting too crowded? Do they need to start pricing people out? We won't get into that right now. So Kate says, I've done both. While I have benefited from Pass and prefer the older system, like Disneyland, or she's saying like Max Pass, so everyone has the same option. I'm a planner and have planned Disney trips as far out as possible, but also the day before. So she's done the planning and then she's planned it at the last minute. The later wasn't lack of planning, but opportunity for Disney. I don't know what she means by that. It would have still liked to get passes, but it made it fine. So that's kind of my thing, that I will plan my fast passes ahead of time, but I don't want to.
Right. It's a necessary evil at this point.
But you have to.
It's a necessary evil.
Yeah. You have to do that if you want to get on certain rides.
Yes. Yes. And I was a little miffed that when I got our fast pass, I think the first flight of passage, literally, and I went on right at 6, so people can't say you didn't go on. The first flight of passage one I got was 8:00 at night.
Yeah.
And that was the first fast pass that we both looked for.
Emma and John.
Emma and John. They are UK friends.
Yay!
Yeah, the best.
The best.
Liz, we were saying hi.
Sorry, Liz. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
That you and I were both on, and that was the first fast pass to get. Like, we both tried to get that fast pass as early as possible at the rope drop time for fast passes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and I still got 8 p.m. You know what I mean? And so so what that means is, because you only have 3, I can't get a 4th one until after I've used my 3rd. So if my 3rd one is 8 p.m., it means I can't get a 4th fast pass until 8:01 p.m.
Yep. Exactly.
And the parks close at 9.
Right.
You know what I wonder? I wonder how many of these people are like, oh, I'm able to get more than 3 passes all the time.
I don't think.
Which I know Mary said that, and I totally agree that if you get like the less desirable attractions, you'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
But I wonder how many of them are taking into account, like, we had bonus fast passes coming our way like crazy while we were there.
Oh,
you couldn't use them on the big rides.
All of the Magic Kingdom flooded the day we were there, so we just ended up, we had fast passes we couldn't use because they just kept throwing more fast passes at us because we couldn't do Jungle Cruise.
But did you notice that you can't use them
on?
You couldn't use them on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You couldn't use it. You know what I mean? There were certain attractions that you couldn't use them on.
Like we did popular attractions.
I know we got one for Dinosaur, and that one I thought we could use on anything we wanted. At Animal Kingdom, because we used it on Expedition Everest.
Yes, but I don't think we needed one for Expedition Everest because the line actually wasn't that long.
It's fine.
So. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Kate says fast passes with 30. Oh, this talks about capacity. So fast passes with 35% capacity and fast passes with 100% capacity are 2 different animals. We went a week ago and just walked to whatever attraction we wanted to next. The longest we waited was maybe 25 minutes. Mm-hmm. She does have a point. Disney's at lower capacity right now. It's a little bit of different when you have, and that kind of segues into, like I said, a future topic we might have is Disney getting too crowded. Do they need, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a completely different animal.
Yeah.
And now
I remember in that stream, a lot of people are like, well, they don't have fast passes now and everything is amazing. And then people's reply were, but it's at 35, 20, whatever, I think it was at 20 at the time, percent capacity. So yes.
And I recognize that. Yes. And I can, so maybe we aren't saying that we hate fast passes. Maybe we are saying we hate the current fast pass system. Yeah. Not that we're saying they should completely get rid of it.
No, I don't think they should
they need to overhaul it.
Yeah. They need to change it.
Yeah.
Well, so then realistically, how many of those fast passes are people claiming 60 days in advance? And then they're like, nah, I don't really want to go to Hollywood Studios today. And they're not bothering to cancel them.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I wonder how much that happens too.
I know. I've had a lot, honestly.
A lot. Or kids get tired. Kids get, whatever.
Yeah. Or they just.
If you're not considering you don't cancel it, then you're still taking up that time.
Yeah.
Correct. So last comment comes from Elizabeth Jolly. And she says, it was great. It was awesome. I loved it. You got 8. You got 8. What? You got 8 likes.
Oh, I heard something very.
They like me.
Yes.
I dislike them because it creates this obsession over fast passes. This weird competition, Hunger Games about getting them. They used to be just a cool perk Disney offered, but now you need to get them or you'll wait in a 100-minute line for every ride except Carousel of Progress. And then she says, side note, one of my favorite rides. Then she says, I feel it creates this culture of always being on your phone and checking your phone for fast passes. I love planning and don't mind logging in at the 60-day mark, but I've done that and it definitely seen most mornings filled, which that's what happened to us with Flight of Passage, especially at the beginning days where you overlap with the other resort stays because you can book for them your entire trip. So let's talk about that in more detail, what that means. So what Liz is talking about is, how do I explain this? Liz, you might be better explaining it than me because I feel you have, you have your resort stay, okay? So like, you are able to book at your 60-day mark plus however many days. So you could technically at your 60-day mark book 60 plus 5.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's not a rolling thing. So you don't log on every single day. So like you book your entire trip all at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes it complicated because when you're booking your fast passes for the beginning of your trip, so say my trip starts on a Monday, the beginning of your trip, the fast passes are going to be gone earlier because other people who had stays before you are the same way. I feel like I am not explaining this very well.
No, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Just
people that got there 5 days before you but are still there on the day that you're there have already booked their fast passes 5 days ago.
Correct.
Right.
They're already done. So I think that's a good thing to consider.
Days usually.
Yes. So a lot of times it's hard for you to find fast passes at the beginning of your trip versus the end of your trip. Yeah. So a lot of people talked about like, well, they should do fast passes where you book in 60 days out, but it's not 60 plus 5. It's just you have to get up every single morning.
Because that's fun.
Yeah.
We're not stressful enough doing it once. Let's do it 8 days in a row.
Well, but Liz makes a
6
point.
o'clock your time is 3 o'clock. 6 o'clock Florida time is 3 o'clock my time.
I know, right? Like 3 in the morning. But Liz does make a point. That is kind of frustrating, the rolling days, how it's like, I think that's part of the reason.
Yeah. Definitely crazy.
Yeah. And we went, and granted, we chose Animal Kingdom on a Monday. That was our first day that we were there. That was our choice. We chose to do that. And that is one of the main reasons why we got Flight of Passage at 8 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Because of that situation.
Yeah.
So, and I was on my phone from 60-day mark to a lot to see about moving our Slinky Dog or moving our Flight of Passage. Yeah. I hated it. I hate being on my phone that much.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Yeah.
And that's one of the disadvantages to Max Plus. Because or Max Pass, sorry.
You can't do it until you're
my own names, whatever. But you are like on your phone a lot. You know, and a lot of times I would be on trying to see if I could get an earlier time or if I could. I have been the person that will have one booked for an hour from now, and I'll find one on a different ride that's booked for 30 minutes from now, and the wait time for that other ride is 50 minutes. So I'll go ahead and drop my first one and take this one, and then I'll go back and grab that one after 30 minutes. Like I totally am that person. But we also go a lot. So being on your phone in the park isn't the end of the world because we're there. I mean, in general, once a month. But there were some times where we went multiple times, in a month where we go once a week, depending what the crowds were like and what the weather's like and what events are going on. We have a food and wine festival out here too. And if that was going on, we were going to go multiple times because we want to be able to experience that. So,
yeah. So this is actually a good segue to Mary with the SisketEARS had messaged me earlier today that she read an article about Disney patent
Yeah.
Applying for a patent. That's a hard word,
I'm just
Mom.
thinking of Nemo and the anemone. And
Oh, yeah.
what kind of
Anemone.
home do you live in? He's like, don't hurt yourself, kid.
Don't hurt yourself. They applied for a patent for a virtual queue, and I'll put a link. I did actually read the article, and I sent it to the girls right before we went live, and I'll put a link to the article in the description down below after the live show is done, in case anybody wants to check it out. Honestly, like, the article confused me even more, maybe because I'm not that smart. It was like a bunch of graphs and yada yada. I'm assuming that they literally took the information from the patent paperwork, and I think Disney had to like make it scientific to show why they needed this patent.
There was a big part of it that I thought was really significant, though. So I think that it's worth trying to dissect as much as we can.
Yes. So Liz, why don't you try to dissect it?
Okay, so I'm coming at this knowing that Disneyland right now is doing virtual queue for Indiana Jones in addition to virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance.
And World is doing virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. We all know that. Yep.
Right. Yep. So what I think is going
what are virtual queues? Why don't we just quick?
Virtual queue is it's essentially Max Pass. Because when you get into the park first thing in the morning, you try and get into the line, basically, for Rise of the Resistance. This is the first ride that they ever did this with. We went on opening day at Disneyland and managed to get on. But for that one, based on your demand, those suckers go fast. And it's essentially
so Rise of the
same
Resistance
thing that I said about Radiator Springs Racers, where it goes really fast. So you have to be ready, and you have to be there and checked in. It used to be, you had to be checked in at 7 a.m. to be able to get in and get a spot in the queue. So what they'll do, what's a little bit different is Max Pass, they would say, okay, come back at this time, just like a Fast Pass. With the virtual queue, they give themselves kind of a safety net where they'll say, okay, you're boarding group number 57. And then you can go in and you can see what groups are boarding at the time so that you kind of have an idea, but you don't really know when you're supposed to be back. So you kind of have, like, I talk about being on your phone all day.
Yeah.
I was obsessively checking my phone. Oh, there are 42. Oh, there are 42.
When you did Rise of the Resistance.
When we did Rise of the Resistance. So now they're also doing virtual queue for Indiana Jones out here. So what I think, what I took away from the patent application
from the article
is that they already know how to do a virtual queue. Yeah. What they needed to patent, what they're trying to hold on to so that other theme parks don't grab it, is they have come up with technology, I think, that will allow them to go in and when you say, I want a spot for this ride, so you already have Rise of the Resistance, let's say. You've won the lottery, you have Rise of the Resistance. Now I want one for Indiana Jones. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to say, are you in the park? Are you the right height requirement was one of the things that they mentioned. So I'm not sure how they would monitor that in the app, but that's something to come. Do you have another virtual queue spot in another ride? And if so, what time is it at?
That it would conflict with, or
exactly. So then
it'll adjust it based upon your second.
Yeah, it'll pull up all the available times and it'll say, oh, well, you can't do this time because you already are doing Rise of the Resistance.
So we'll put you
so
here.
It'll pull a new time for you.
Yeah.
And then it'll give you that time. So you'll have, it's essentially fast passes. What I think is going to be interesting is if they're doing the virtual queue on Indy, which I'm not 100% sure because I didn't do a lot of research into it. If the virtual queue is the same where it's giving you a boarding group as opposed to a time to come back, then I'm interested to see what happens when rides go down and your time gets delayed on this ride if they clash. But they did talk about in that article as well, they're talking about expiration. So what if someone doesn't show up for their time? What are the guidelines around that? So there's a lot in there about that too. But I think that's the gist of it, is that they're coming up with software that's going to make this so that you can have multiple virtual queues going on.
And that's what Mary had asked that I had highlighted. She's wondering if you could get, and that's my big thing, that if you can only get one virtual queue at a time, that really doesn't help the system. Like I'm still waiting in a standby line at some point in time. But if you can go into the park, and again, I'm not sure how they're going to do this. And so I encourage everybody to check out the article. It's actually kind of fascinating. And say, you check off, I want to ride in Magic Kingdom. I want to ride Winnie the Pooh, Seven Dwarfs, Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Space Mountain, Jungle Cruise. And you click, 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 click.
Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion. Yes. You just click whatever ones you want to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does the computer system compute? Okay, here are your times then.
Yeah.
I don't
know that they'll go that far yet. But I think for now you'll say, I want to ride this ride. And it'll say, okay, come back at this time. And then you'll be like, okay, well, I would like to ride this ride. And they'll say, oh, okay, come back at this time for that ride, but still come back at this time for this other ride. So I think it's going to be a one-off at the beginning, obviously, because of the way that the technology works. But it would be really interesting to see if they go to that whole thing where you can say, essentially what Undercover Tourist does for you, where you go in and you say, I want to ride all of these rides. I have these fast passes. I have this, this, this. Tell me what order to do my rides in.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be interesting to see if it gets to that.
Yeah.
So I agree, Emma and John. I hope that's the thing with fast passes. Don't do it do it for the popular rides.
Yeah.
It makes sense to do it for popular rides. When you put it on every single ride, then people book
do
it
that
because they have to book a fast pass or lose
Correct.
it. Or it's wasteful then.
Yeah.
Right.
And JNN Travels made a good point. Like there are people out there who don't carry smartphones, and we have to like respect that. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't want to be
on
phone.
It's an interesting concept though.
Virtual, not virtual, but like hubs like they do now.
Oh, okay. Kiosks.
So that, where there's like a kiosk where you can go in and you can book, you know, your stuff now without having to do it on a smartphone or on a device. I remember when they talked about replacing Magic Bands with devices, and people were like, but I don't carry my phone. And I was like, they're not going to get rid of Magic Bands entirely.
No.
There's going to have to be a contingency plan because not everyone has a smartphone.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know, and you can't require people to have one to be able to access basic things.
Yeah. It's an interesting, the virtual queue thing is interesting. I think right now Disney is just trying to patent the technology, but I think you're right. I think it is a way to basically no more fast passes. So it's still standby lines. You know what I mean? Like, I think they want to get rid of honestly, I think Disney wants to get rid of fast passes. I think that they have recognized that the system is flawed. As Disneyland and Disney World have gotten more crowded, the system is flawed.
Yeah.
But they need to do something so people are not sitting in line. So I think this is their way, because it's not really a fast pass. It's just like saying, okay, I want to ride Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, click, and then it looks at trends. It looks at what you already have virtual queues for, and it says, okay, based upon this is when you can come back. And then you can choose whether to wait in that virtual line or not. Right?
Yeah.
And there's something to be said. One of the things that the article called out is Disney doesn't want us standing in lines.
No.
It makes us grumpy. It makes us mad.
Right.
It makes you not want to come back again.
With
health concerns right now as they were. But the biggest thing is you're not spending money if you're standing in a line.
Yeah.
You're not getting, do you realize this absolutely is like flabbergasting to me when I realize this? We went to the Halloween party. We had 2 snacks while we were there. We did not eat because we had eaten before. We had 2 snacks. One of them was one that we said, okay, we want to try this before we get there. The other one, I had an orange because it's what was where we were. Because we were so freaking tired from standing around everywhere.
Correct.
That we didn't want to do anything. And granted, we were exhausted because of the way that we scheduled
our
trip.
Correct.
That's on us.
But now with mobile ordering.
How did we go to the Halloween party and all we had was the wedding cake? What was wrong with us?
I know what was wrong with us.
know.
But think about it. Now that they have mobile ordering.
Yeah,
I'm mobile ordering the shit out of
love
everything.
mobile
ordering. Amen.
And that's that's a topic for a whole other day. A lot of people hate
it is. It is. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with this. And I
say something though. I must say
something.
Yeah. I really don't want people to expect never to wait in a line.
Right.
Like that is unrealistic. If you're going to Disney, you could wait in a 20-minute line and that's okay. You might even wait in an hour line for a very popular ride. Like that. It is really not realistic to go. I want to make sure that I never have to wait in a line at all. I am like the least patient person in the universe. But
I think I would beat you on that.
I mean, you have to wait in lines.
Yeah.
You just do, unfortunately.
And this
Well,
would
and
be
I'm the person that I'll look at it and I'll go, is it worth it to wait in
correct.
that line?
Yeah, I was actually just going to say that. So like
And if it
Winnie
is,
the
I'll go
Pooh.
do it. And if it's not,
Yeah.
I'm not
And it's
interested,
not,
I walk away.
Yeah.
And then I don't
Right.
do that day. And that's
Correct.
fine.
Or-
but you have to be
Right.
willing to accept that. I haven't done Splash Mountain since we moved here, which was
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Right.
I want to do it. It's one of my favorites, and I haven't done it because the line is always too long, or
Yeah.
the people I'm with don't want to do it because they're bubs.
Blech.
Rude.
Well, blah, blah on them.
Oh
Yes, Emma,
and,
like I agree. Some of the line
Winnie
experience.
The Pooh line is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So going back to Winnie the Pooh, like I would imagine you'd look at Winnie the Pooh, I'm going to join a virtual queue and they'd say, okay, well, come back in 10 minutes. That might be a situation where like, okay, then F it. I'm not going to join the virtual queue. I am literally just going to wait in the line for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know
And
what I
that
mean?
happens
Like,
with Max Pass. I have
Yeah.
had times where I'll go to stand in a line and the Max Pass is literally sooner than the line is.
Yeah.
So then I go and I get the Fast Pass and I just walk right on because it's 10 minutes for the Fast Pass, but it's 20 minutes to stand in the line.
Right.
yeah.
You know, the opposite
that's-
happens too.
So I think there's always going to be certain rides that you probably would not virtually queue because it's a continuous
Right. Again,
whatever.
I
Honestly,
don't-
Yeah.
a lot of Fantasyland, I don't see doing a virtual queue. I don't see
Peter
why
Pan.
it would be beneficial. I think it's going to be e-ticket rides.
And
Yeah. Yeah. But Peter Pan gets that because it stops. Peter Pan stops,
yeah, I know. They need to
But you
update
fly.
that ride.
but you fly.
fly.
Yeah. There's other ways you can fly. Let's drink.
I
So, okay. Well, that's it. That is our topics for today. I hope everybody had a lot of fun listening to all of our tangents. Hoping we can do this again in June. I don't know, or sometime we're getting into busy season with, well, you know, so it's summer in Wisconsin. We tend to go a little crazy, but
Because you
we
can.
yeah, because you can. We actually have a lot of fun topics planned, mobile ordering being one of them. I have a fun topic of, is Disney too crowded? Should we start pricing people out? Maybe we can start talking about, a passes. I don't know, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching this. We are going to sign off now. So cheers to everybody. Thank you for listening to our fantastic Disney tangents. Don't forget to subscribe to Ohana Adventures down below. Join our adventure family. We do a lot of Disney stuff. Obviously, we have a Disney trip coming up in November with the three of us. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all those fun adventures. So I hope you guys are having a magical week and a magical weekend. And remember, adventure is out there.
So bring out the magic in your life.
See you real soon. Bye.
Bye.